Hello everybody, how are you all doing? Welcome to City Unplugged, your very own Man City fan channel. Sorry we're 5 minutes late, but the lineup for me seemed interesting. I thought maybe Stones will be fit, but Stones wasn't fit. Pep is placing a lot of faith in Rico Lewis. Jeremy Doku on the wing on the left hand side. Ah, it's just it just doesn't stick with Julian Alvarez and Aston Villa on the counter attack here. And yes, Ruben Diaz does extremely well, and Stephen Ortega gets the ball back. Phil Foden will play in his preferred middle position today. Arush is here. Hey Arush, how are you doing? Hey Arush, what's your view on the Arsenal game, mate? Do you think we have to win the Arsenal game, or do you think the league is still there to be taken? Because on our community as well, and in general, in the fan base as well, in the City fan base as well, people are like divided on it. Majority of the people think we had to win that Arsenal match to have a chance in the league, but I'm on the minority here. I think that draw was not that good as a win, but a draw was better than a loss because a draw meant that we are still breathing in the title race. That the breath is not gone. We're not dead in the title race. Rico Lewis is gone in. It's Jeremy Doku. Look at that. Rico Lewis alongside Rodri. They're holding the width. Is playing as almost a box to box midfielder, and that is allowing Jeremy Doku to have plenty of space, and that's a foul on Jeremy Doku. That's a foul on Jeremy Doku by Luka Dean, and look at the skill there by Jeremy Doku. I think Luka Dean is gonna have a torrid time. That is a clear foul on Jeremy Doku by Luka Dean. Arush says, I'm doing good. Arsenal game was a must. It's very hard to win the league now. I still think there are a lot of things that can happen, Arush, because it's just a 3 point gap. Of course, we have to be perfect till the end. And I think this is one of our major toughest fixtures. After this, I think Spurs away will be our final tough fixture. After all the other games are manageable, I think. But yeah, I think stuff can happen. Stuff can happen, I think, because Liverpool are playing United at the weekend at Old Trafford, if I'm not wrong. So in that game, anything can happen. Because Liverpool United at Old Trafford is almost gets a derby-like feeling. Phil Foden with the kick, and Martinez claims it, and Olsen claims it and saves it. Uh, Arsenal have and Liverpool have to play Everton. Everton away, I guess, if I'm not wrong. And I know Everton are not in good form, but Everton are fighting for their lives. That brings a different dynamic. No, Liverpool have to play Spurs, even though it's at Anfield, anything can happen. A draw, even if it's a draw, that would also have implications in the title race. So Arsenal have a couple of tough fixtures. They have Spurs away, sandwiched in between the two Champions League games with Bayern. Arsenal have, I think, Aston Villa. They have Spurs away. Arsenal have to play United. So tough fixtures for everyone. Aru says, I hope Liverpool drops some points in next 2 to 3 matches. Plus, all these injuries are scary because we have many important games lined up. I think we need to thank Gareth Southgate for playing John Stones in such an. Hey, shoot! That was a chance. That was a chance. That was a chance. For Alvarez. I mean, people were telling how do you break that Arsenal defense? Arsenal literally came to the Etihad and parked the bus. I thought about it for a while. I think John Stones was the answer to us breaking that Arsenal bus. Because Stones comes from defense, slots in there, extra body. So I think John Stones was the answer. And unluckily, John Stones didn't play. Rodri. Ah, City are trying to shoot from distance. Never like it when City shoot from distance, but if it's Rodri, still fine with it. The intensity has been good today. The press has been good. Bernardo Silva. Gives it to Grealish. Grealish does well, but there's no one there. Jeremy Doku does extremely well to get hold of the ball, and Doku helps us retain possession. Aston Villa are just parked in their half. I mean, that is what they need, one counter attack, right? Rico Lewis, and people are telling which fullback will Pep buy next season. I think he might just start Rico Lewis from the off. Jeremy Doku has to cross the ball in. And City score, it's 1-0. And it's Rodri. And it's Rodri who scores. That's a Yaya Toure like wing. That's a Yaya Toure like run into the box and shot. Yaya Toure is watching this game. He'll be proud if Yaya Toure has seen that. The way Rodri slotted it into the goal, put it into the goal with power. What a goal by Rodri. That is Yaya Toure returning and helping us. Just look at the speed of play there. Jeremy Doku, Phil Ford, an excellent decision to give it to Jeremy Doku. Is Jeremy Doku is clearly onside. Jeremy Doku is onside, and then the finish by Rodri. Rodri, you should not be a DM man. You should play. You should play in the box to box role. That finish reminds you of Yaya Toure. Wow, what a finish! The legend of Yaya Toure has once again risen at the Etihad Stadium. JSK says two important things. One, need a right back, and two, need a cam. They're checking for a possible offside. Uh, just hope it's not offside. Just hope it's bloody not offside. Yes, it's onside. They've checked it. They've checked it. It's onside. Yes, it's a goal. They've checked it. 1-0 City. Woo! Arush says a great play where Rodri always helps us. He's such a key for us, and the runs as well, Arush. The runs as well. How is this guy not winning the Balon d'Or? How doesn't Rodri win the Balon d'Or? I don't know. I don't know how Rodri doesn't win the Balon d'Or last season. And people said Messi, people said Haaland, but last season as well, I would give it. I would give the Balon d'Or to Rodri, to be honest. Rico, 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 Rico. Do your one-on-ones. Well done, Rodri. Well done. Well done, Rodri, helping out little Rico Lewis. Very well done. I mean, last season itself, I was pissed off that Rodri. I think Rodri deserved the Ballon d'Or of anybody else. I mean, you could say Messi scored X amount of goals. Erling Haaland scored X amount of goals and broke the Premier League record and all of that. But look at the strikes by Rodri last season. Bayern Munich, important goal. Inter Milan, final, important goal. Clutch moments, Rodri was always there. And he did that DM role magnificently well. JSK says Rodrigo can be Gundogan's successor. Aston Villa are now pressing us high. I think we need to be ready for a counter here. I think Doku should stay front instead of coming back, and he should look for a counter attack there. City are defending well. The shape is a 4-4-2. That is an excellent save by Ortega, but he was offside. Diaby was offside. I think it was Diaby. We have to be careful of Diaby. JSK is not the Ballon d'Or, but putting Messi in best over Rodri shows some there is FIFA. Still JSK. I mean, I couldn't fathom that Erling Haaland did not win the Ballon d'Or first of all, because just because Messi did something in the uh, Premier League. I mean, I'll always say people that I always see Barcelona fans who argue with me that just reverse the situation. Just imagine Erling Haaland was playing in MLS, or he was playing in some second rate league, and then imagine Messi broke the Premier League all time record. Messi went on and won the Champions League. Messi won the treble basically. Who do you give the Ballon d'Or? Just imagine if last season Haaland and Messi's roles were reversed. Who would you give the Ballon d'Or? It would be Messi, right? Then why didn't you give it to Haaland? One that I wouldn't get that. I mean, it was just injustice in the Ballon d'Or, which was done last season, to be honest. Aru says Rodri is the best CDM in Premier League. He's such a gem for us. I think Kimmich Rodri duo would be great. I was chatting about this with a United fan who's my friend, and he was about us buying Kimmich next summer, and he was telling, "Oh, that's a foul," and Aston Villa get the free kick. And you know what he was telling? Don't you want us to compete in the Premier League? Do you want us to give a walkover? He was like scared, just imagining that duo of Kimmich, Rodri, and potentially a Foden. I mean, Kimmich and Rodri would be something else. The long range passing of Rodri, the long range passing of Kimmich, the long and the urge of Kimmich to get into the box, the urge of Rodri to get into the box, the way they can dribble past midfield and stuff. That would be great. I mean, I always thought Kovacic would be fantastic. Kovacic would be fantastic with Rodri because Kovacic stays back and Rodri can then venture forward, and sometimes Rodri stays back and Kovacic can break the press and things like that. But Kovacic this season he's been good after injury, but he hasn't settled into our system as quickly as I've hoped for. To be fair, JSK's Kimmich move is very possible since Alonso is not going to Bayern. But then JSK they're also sacking Tuchel, right? Tuchel is also gonna leave, right? So City on the hunt for another goal, and ah, Josko Guardiola has just been superb. Just look at him there. Guardiola has just been fantastic. I don't know. It seems that since Guardiola has come back from injury, he's just grown in physicality. He's just grown 2 3 inches taller, and he's just become a beast. I just think before Guardiola's injury, we were given a fake Guardiola, and after injury, the real Josko Guardiola has returned. I mean, this Josko Guardiola is just unrecognizable from the Guardiola I've seen I mean, 2 3 months ago before he got injured. But yeah, JSK for that Kimmich move, I think since Tuchel is going, I expect Kimmich to stay. To be fair, Manuel Akanji does extremely well. It's Jeremy Doku now. Jeremy Doku. Ah, JSK is envying Livramento to can't continue with Walker next season. I've heard Saudi Arabia, the agents of a team in Saudi Arabia have actually met Walker's representatives, and they're offering 45 million pounds or something for Walker. I would take that money, to be honest, because I think Walker, it's his time. I think anytime next season, for example, or the season after, Walker's going to slow down. He'll already be 34 next season. So, but Livramento, I do not think Livramento, I'm not exactly sure of Livramento, to be honest. I know I've seen him play Newcastle and stuff. Rico Lewis does extremely well. I think obviously Frimpong would be good, but people are realizing Frimpong has defensive liabilities. Aston Villa are, overnumbering us here and outnumbering us here. And Aston Villa score, it's 1-1. Aston Villa score, it's 1-1. Ah, Durham scores, it's bloody 1-1. I was looking forward to a clean sheet at the Etihad, and maybe not happening. Again, Julian Alvarez trying to dribble too much, and it's a counter attack from Aston Villa. I don't think there's an offside in the build up, to be honest. No, there's no offside in the build up. There's absolutely no offside in the build up. No one was tracking the runner. I think it was Diaz who was tracking the runner, but Diaz was just too slow. It was a great finish, and Stefan Ortega couldn't do anything. Aru says that they're checking for offside, but it's never gonna be offside unless I'm seeing some parallax error there. It can never be offside. I don't know why they're checking for so long. It's never offside in a million years. I don't know what they're checking for so long, to be honest. And it's a goal. It's 1-1. Uh, Aru says there was a lot of news going on that Walker is retiring after this season. Frimpong is good. He has passing, shooting, pace, but he doesn't have the defensive work rate, right, Arush? Frimpong is not at all good defensively. I mean, it depends. Like you want to play Frimpong as a wing back with three at the back, two wing backs, Guardiola and Frimpong as wing backs, for example, and then you want to play something like a 3-5-2 system, something like that. I think Frimpong as a wing back would be great, but Frimpong in a back four would be a disaster waiting to happen for me. Having seen whatever little of Frimpong, because if I'm not wrong, Leverkusen defense with a 4-4, I mean with the three at the back, right? So Jack Grealish, the goalkeeper does well over there. The goalkeeper does absolutely well over there. Aston Villa without Leon Bailey, without Ole Watkins, still coming to the Etihad and scoring a goal over us. Aru says maybe we can train him according to ourselves. Plus, he's just 23, and I think he's gonna shine in the future. That's true. I mean, I think if we get Frimpong, then I think we have to give him some time, at least an year or so, to settle as fans. I think that's another thing. But I always thought that Arush Pedro Poro was one of the best replacements for Kyle Walker. Guy has everything. That's a great ball in. Jeremy Doku, as usual, is just ah. That is a stupid cross by Jeremy Doku. I think look, I think looking at Doku, he just reminds me of Vinicius Junior when he came to Real Madrid. He was just this erratic, this shit and all. In his final ball, but after 2 3 years, he's become the best, one of the best winger in the world right now. For a moment, I thought that really shot was in. But who are the other alternatives, Arush, apart from, for example, Kuto or Frimpong? Do you have any names in mind apart from Kuto or Frimpong? We we can't drop points in this game. We cannot. I mean, we drew with Arsenal, and I'm like, still we are breathing in the title race, but I think you drop points here and you're out of the title race. Let's be clear. Let's not go two ways around it, and let's say other teams can drop points. Now I think we drop points here. From now on, we drop points in any match, and we're out of the title race. Jack Grealish does extremely well. I mean, Liverpool have 67 points, I think, or 64 points. The title this year is going to be somewhere around 91 to 93 points. Roughly, assume it's around 92 points. I think that would actually mean that we have had a under par season, because generally, if you see in the previous seasons, I think all of our titles have been above 95 points. Most of the titles, the Centurions won, the one afterwards with Liverpool where it was 97, 98. Then after that again, I mean, in the last 5 years, I think maybe apart from the COVID season, which is a special season, all of our titles have been at least in the mid 90s. This year, the title might just stay in the early 90s, which says that we haven't played according to our potential, to be honest. Phil Foden's dispossessed of the ball, and that is great defending. That is fantastic defending by Josko Guardiola. So I mean, if someone else wins the title this year or whatever might happen, I think you have to reflect on it and say that we have had an under par season. I mean, an under par season for City is anything below 95 points, because I think in every season, in most of the seasons, I think from when the Premier League has started, I think you get about 95 points, you win the Premier League. Liverpool fans will say another thing, but generally you get more than 95 points, you win the Premier League, I think. And this season, it was like that. This season, we have not beaten any of the top four, right? Top four in the sense Liverpool, Arsenal, Aston Villa, the current top four. We haven't beaten any of them. And still, we have a chance of within 3 points of the summit. That just tells you the league itself has not been as fierce this season. Few people would say it's because three teams in the title race and all, but for me, I think the league hasn't been as competitive as when Liverpool and City would go with each other. Julian Alvarez, Rico Lewis, one touch football. Rodri, City have retained the ball extremely well here. Jack Grealish, well defended by Villa. Arus says we haven't beaten top five. It's been a tough season comparatively. I mean, it's kind of an interesting thing, because I think that's a good point mentioned, Arus. Because I think that the top five, the top six have actually been good, but then when you see teams from almost up from seventh until the bottom of the league, they have been very weak, because in previous seasons gone by, I think you would have teams like Fulham presenting a strong challenge, you would have teams like Brentford presenting a strong challenge, Crystal Palace would be generally hard to beat, you would have your relegation teams giving a much better fight. This season the relegation teams are just rolled away without giving any fight. You generally have Everton, doing well. I think comparatively, right from your eighth position, Chelsea, of course, United, of course, they've not been that good. I mean, I think right from the eighth spot to the end of the table, teams have gotten weaker comparatively. And then I think even Brighton have regressed, but I think the top five have actually gotten stronger. So it's an interesting thing. It's a very interesting thing. But for me, I think overall, I think the league has actually gotten a bit more weaker rather than stronger. To be honest, I know we have not been able to defeat some teams comprehensively. Wolves is an example, and stuff like that. That's on us. But in a general aspect, I think I think the league has gotten a bit softer for me when you compare to the previous seasons when we were going against Liverpool. Arsenal are two up against Luton. I don't think they're losing points today. I don't think it was expected for them to lose points today, Arush. But I actually think that Luton will score a goal. I think Luton will score a goal. That's the only thing I can say. Partly also have Alfie Doughty in the team from Luton, so it's a free kick in City's favour, and already 30 minutes gone, and it's 1-1. Buck up for a nervy night. Buck up for a nervy night, Arush. Buck up for a nervy night, guys. It's gonna be nerves today, I think. That's not a foul. This ref is just sitting all over us. Anthony Taylor comes and doesn't give cards when we were being constantly fouled by Arsenal players. And here, this was never a foul. This was never a foul. And this was never a foul. There was hardly any touch. And the referee gives a foul on Douglas Lewis. 100 marks, 200 marks. Douglas Lewis for all of that acting. Aru says we really can't draw today. We are craving for that win. Arish, any points dropped today? I'll not. I mean, when we drew against Arsenal, I was like, we are still breathing in the title race and all. But I won't butter up the things if we drop points today. When a draw is not good enough, I think we drop points today. We are out of the title race. Let's say all the best to Arsenal and Liverpool as they fight it out, and we'll look at the Champions League. I think and FA Cup. I think we need to accept that. If we drop points today, we're out of it. That's it. Let us not pretend and say we'll compete in both. If we drop points today, it's better to give people like Oscar Bob chance in the Premier League and then focus on the Champions League, because retaining the Champions League and FA Cup, a double of that is not a bad season either. I mean, what do you think? A Champions League and an FA Cup this season without the Premier League, do you think that's a bad season? Let me know in the comments. Do you think that's a bad season? For me, that's a mighty successful season. Another Champions League in an FA Cup. I mean, no FA Cup as well. Just another Champions League. Just retaining that Champions League itself for me is a very successful season, because how many teams in the history of football, of European football, have retained the Champions League? It's just Zidane's Real Madrid. That's it. Not your AC Milans in the prime, not your Inter Milans, not your Bayern Munichs, not your Barcelonas. I think you would take your place alongside an elite. That you'll be part of Champions League folklore if we can retain the Champions League. Arus's yellow card was unnecessary. That the ref was shit there. Bernardo Silva does well. Rodri, we have finally settled down onto our rhythm. Rico Lewis. The pass was a bit short there by Rodri, and City get the throw in. Duran coming back and defending as well. Aru says UCL will be great. Plus, our season has been great except some games. UCL will be fantastic. It will be part of folklore. But I think some fans just want the Premier League at any cost. I think Arush, it's among a fan base, it's becoming that if you don't win the treble every season, it's a failure, something like that. If you don't win the Premier League every season, it's a failure, something like that. When I read social media, this thing on stuff like Reddit and all of that stuff, it's almost like people are feeling as if we don't do the treble again, it's a failure of a season for us. Whereas after we won the treble last season, I was like, let even if the team gives a bye to this season and they don't win anything, it's fine because they have achieved such a great thing last season. So I'm happy whatever happens this season. It's great that we have fought till this till this juncture. The motivation of the team itself is surprising to many people. Doku does extremely well there. That's well defended. Rico Lewis. Durham is playing high and it's actually troubling our centre backs. Ortega takes a great touch there. JSK says we don't deserve the league. I mean, I'll come back to that point that we don't deserve the league, but Jack, Rodri, don't shoot from there. Manuel Akanji. It's interesting they're playing Durham high and City are struggling with that a bit. Aston Villa are always having someone free on the counter. They're having one less man to defend and we're not able to exploit that. But Phil Foden, Rico Lewis, that is excellent. City need to score here. What a save by Olsen that is. Ooh, I thought that was in for a moment. What a save by Olsen. Alvarez needed to score there. He needed to smash it into the He needed to smash it into the near post. It's gone to the far post, which made it easier for the keeper. Ah, Aston Villa on the attack now. For a moment I thought that Villa have a chance. Akanji does well. Akanji does extremely well. Rodri does well there. Jack Grealish has to give it to Doku. Grealish does extremely well, and it's a free kick, and Douglas Lewis gets in the book. It's a yellow card. It's a great run there by Bernardo Silva, and it's a free kick. I think Phil Foden setting up the spot there. No, it's a great run by Jack Grealish there, and Jack Grealish got his revenge. But Alvarez needed to score over there. That was such a good chance there. He just needed to score over there. I think JSK, it's interesting that you said we don't deserve to win the league. I mean, I know you have been coming from the point of view that we haven't beaten the top four and stuff. We haven't beaten anyone in the top four and stuff. But then again, I think that's why I say that maybe the other top two teams in the league haven't been that clinical as well. Otherwise, I think I understand where you're coming from, JSK. Maybe the gap should have been higher. It's been an underwhelming season, to be honest. It didn't seem like we'll kickstart that run which we generally go on. It's that's Julian Alvarez with the free kick and stuff. Jessica says, by the way, personal questions, Mon. Are you into CS? I mean, does what does CS mean, Jessica? Counter Strike, or is it computer science, or what is it? Can you please elaborate? Can you please elaborate, JSK? And Jeremy Doku, what does CS mean? Okay, okay. Computer science. Yeah, for a moment I thought you were asking about uh, some game. Not exactly computer science, JSK. I do ethical hacking actually. I do penetration testing. I do bug bounty actually. I do freelance penetration testing in ethical hacking, which means you test web applications and clients pay you a fee. You test web applications for a fee and then report the vulnerabilities. You basically hack the websites with permission of the clients. I do that, and then I also do bug bounty, which means there are some programs where companies post their websites and tell you to hack into them, and if you can hack into them and find some bugs, vulnerabilities, then they pay you depending on the vulnerability you found. So yeah, in short, I do ethical hacking actually. To I do ethical hacking generally. Are you into computer science, JSK? A question for you as well. JSK says, great, I am third year of CS and I'm thinking to switch to data science. Uh, that's that's a good thing, JSK. Data science has a lot of, I mean, that's a generic thing for me to say, a lot of opportunities and stuff. See, the pros of data sciences, I think, is more and more people come into using the internet and stuff. Lots of data will be there, and also it will always be in demand. But for me, one of the con of data sciences, probably you will not have as many freelance opportunities and stuff further down the line as you might have in other things like web development and hacking and all of those things. So I mean, I would suggest you to try it out, and then if you like it, you can do it actually. But yeah, they say there's a lot of demand for data science as well, and also I think the market's competitive in that, like there are many people switching to it as well. So it's got both things about it. JSK says I'm not getting much perfect DSA, and now with Devin AI, life is gonna become little difficult in CSC. Yeah, data science is, I mean, sorry, data structures and algorithms is like too difficult. I mean, I know friends who used to like, do that lead code problems a lot. They used to, just sometimes it would be like day and night. They would just be doing those lead code problems literally for this thing. But yeah, apart from data structures and algorithms, JSK, have you actually tried to look into things like, uh, Android development, for example, and Android development, and I mean, rather than this pure software development, Android development, and then full stack development, where there's a lot of demand for web developers as well. That thing, I think with CS, I think if if you do not want to go into the software, this thing, I think these two things are great options, maybe. And I have a lot of friends actually doing this business analyst stuff as well. They've learned a tool called as Power BI and things, and they actually work on it. So that could also be an option. JSK says, bro, South Indian people are always edge above everyone in CSC. You probably heard about Reddy sir and RBR sir, since you are uh, also from South, I I don't know JSK because originally I'm not from a CS background. I'm actually from a structural engineering background actually, and then I built a startup for a couple of years, and after that, I'm actually doing this thing. I've got into ethical hacking actually, so I'm actually not a CS guy. So yeah, but everyone here does everyone here does CS. That's the fact. Everyone here does CS. Everyone in South India does CS and goes to America. And honestly, JSK, I don't know if you have thought of this, but for me, but I think more I think of this, I think there's no other choice in the Indian market as well, apart from CSC, IT, and software engineering. I mean, I know there are jobs in, mechanical engineering, civil engineering, and stuff, but they don't actually pay you as much. The growth is not as much, and the conditions and the working conditions as well. It's Phil Foden scores! What a goal! Phil Foden scores! Phil Foden scores! Phil Foden scores! Yes, come on, Phil! What a goal! Aru says Jack gonna get a red. Ref is pretty mad at him, and Erling Haaland is pretty mad at the ref as well. Arush, if the ref gives him a red, Erling Haaland is gonna pretty much bash the ref. Just look at Phil Foden with this strike. You'd say maybe maybe the goalkeeper must be saving it, but it's not the side of the goalkeeper, to be honest. I think he's curled it around the wall in the middle, from the middle of the wall very well. So he's hit it in the middle of the wall very well. So that's actually a very good goal. Yes, yes. Coming back to you, this thing, I think it's it's with the Indian market mostly. I think, especially, I think apart from the computer courses, CSE, IT, and software, there's nothing that pays you actually well to counter the level of inflation and all and that stuff and have a decent this thing, to be honest. And that's the fact. That's where a lot of people do CS. I don't know much about the thing in North India, because I think in North India the culture it's a bit different, because I've heard that people do business a lot as well, but in South India it's we don't do business as much. It's mostly the computer courses, and then you get a job. JSK says, I think you should try out DSA too along in the side. DSA plus networking combo is very deadly, like Robin and Ribery combo. uh, I actually think, JSK, I'm actually trying to do the malware. This thing, I'm actually now learning to code malware. Learning that there are companies that actually pay you to develop exploits. Alvarez must score, and that's a good block. So the companies that basically pay you to develop exploits, so that they can be one step ahead of the hackers, and they can use it to test the websites of other companies basically, and find out the vulnerabilities. So I think I'm actually interested in that exploit development, where you write code for developing certain viruses and all of those things. I'm actually working on that. We use a language called as Yara for that, the rules for malware, this thing, and Python, basically Python and Yara. So that's what I'm working on. No interest in DSA actually, JSK. No interest in DSA. That's a good ball, and this is a easy header. Julian! Open goal, man! Open goal! He needs to score over there, Julian Alvarez. 3-1, the match was over. 3-1, the match was over. Julian Alvarez needed to score over there. 3-1, and the match was done and dusted. It's a corner. 3-1, and the match was over. What did you do, Julian? What did you do? That, I mean, why do this? Why do these strikers keep on missing goals? Haaland missed the same one, right? Haaland missed the same one against United, right? If I'm not wrong. An open goal and he put it over the bar. And Julian Alvarez, and this was almost the same. The thing with Haaland was Onana wasn't there as well. And here Olsen was, I mean, this was an open goal as well. I mean, ah, just because now no one will ditch my boy Haaland. By the way, JSK, since you're trying to go into data science as well, I would actually tell you to do in Coursera. There's a course called as Google Professional Certificate in Cyber Security. So you could do that, and also there's Google Professional course in Data Analytics. I mean, these two give you the basics, and then I think if you give 8 hours in a week, these certificates take about 2 months, 3 months. And the thing is, if you do these certificates, they teach you from the basics, and you'll know if you're interested in that particular subject or not. So initially, I did the same thing for my cyber security. I didn't know what to get into, and someone suggested do the Google Cyber Security Certificate one. They taught it from the basics, like what is a modem and things. And then I got interested, and I did a couple of other certs, and that's how I got into ethical hacking and stuff. So I would just suggest you to look into these two. They'll be actually helpful. Jessica says, let's buy Darwin Nunes if we don't aim to score. I mean, Jessica, just imagine we are having we are having Raheem Sterling, Erling Haaland, and Gabriel Jesus. Just imagine that was our front three. It would have been something else. It would have been something else. We would have been crying here over the misses. But 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 JSK, do you think JSK and Darush, do you think was is Gundogan a big miss or is Riyad Mahrez a big miss? That's a question that's been striking me. So, what do you guys think, Jeske and Darush? What do you think? Who has been the biggest miss, Gundogan or Riyad Mahrez? Because this team will reach around, I'm sure, around 87, 88 points easily. And I think we will not win the Premier. I mean, if we do not win the Premier League, we might fall short by around 4, 5 points, which means that Crystal Palace dropping 2 points there, not scoring enough goals, missing open sitters against Chelsea, missing those sitters against Spurs. You just add all of those points together, and then the picture would be completely different. I mean, just think. Haaland open goals against Spurs. Haaland open goals against Chelsea, both home and away. If Haaland would have taken those chances, and then against Liverpool as well at the Etihad, Haaland has an open goal, he doesn't score, Liverpool counter, Trent scores. It was in the same play. Just imagine if Haaland scores that goal against Liverpool, against Spurs, against Chelsea, you'd be talking about a different thing, right? Then City would have beaten few teams in the top four, and City would be many more points ahead. The picture would have been different, actually. JSK says Gundogan. Uh, I mean, it seems Gundogan on the off, JSK. Seems Gundogan on the off, but I actually think Haaland. Sorry, I'm not Haaland. I think Riyad Mahrez is a bigger miss because Riyad Mahrez was involved in what 28 goal contributions across all competitions last season. Roughly 28 goal contributions. I mean, where have we covered up those 28 goal contributions? We have not got them from Doku. I mean, combined the goal contributions of Doku, Grealish, and Alvarez, they're not 28. Doku, Grealish, and Alvarez. Even if you combine three of them, the goal contributions are not 28, and we're almost just 8 matches from the end of the Premier League season, right? So I think that is where the difference is. I think goals have been a problem this season. We have not been able to blow a particular team away as we did last season. So I mean, let me check the scores of Arsenal are 2-0 up against Luton. Odegaard scores one, and it's another own goal, and it's nil-nil Brentford and Brighton. So yeah, I mean, so I think Riyad Mahrez and we have not replaced him well adequately as well. I mean, Doku is still a work in progress. I mean, people say, why did you let Cole Palmer go? And I'm like, bro, Cole Palmer is not a right winger. We gave him chances for 2 seasons. Cole Palmer is better playing in the center than on the right. My only concern this season is maybe we should have given more minutes to Oscar Bob over Jeremy Doku, because Oscar Bob knows how to play in the system. He's from the academy and stuff, so that was my only concern. So, and news is that we might go for Pedro Neto next season, but he is injury prone as well. So the market dynamics are going to be very very interesting next season. How what players we are going to buy. One thing I'm sure is we are getting Lucas Paqueta for sure next season. I think Lucas Paqueta. I mean, there's been reports from multiple outlets that Pep Guardiola had seen Lucas Paqueta as the Ilkay Gundogan replacement. And when City didn't get him, they went into a panic buy mode of getting in Matthews Nunez. I mean, Matthews Nunez has all the talents to become a very good player, but for me, you don't buy both Nunez and Kovacic because you already have Rico Lewis who does the same job, box to box, and then you have Kovacic as well who does the same job, and then you're buying on top of both of them, you're buying Matthews Nunez as well. So didn't make sense to me going for those signings. Gonna be interesting, guys. This final run in is gonna be very interesting. We need to win every game. We need to go to Spurs away and win. Yes, need to win every game. By the way, do you guys watch IPL? If you're watching IPL, which team do you support in IPL? I'm asking you this question because the team I support right now is just going downhill. The matches are not enjoyable to watch anymore. I somehow feel I first time in a long time I feel that I want to watch the team lose. I mean, the big question now would be who will Pep play against Vinicius Junior if Walker is not available. The most illogical answer would be Rico Lewis, but for me, the most logical answer would probably be Manuel Akanji, with John Stones returning to centre back. I mean, in a way, thank God that we have Josko Guardiol in such great form. Otherwise, just imagine Nathan Ake getting injured and Guardiol out of form would have been a disaster for us. But I think we need to find a solution to this problem. To be honest, with John Stones getting injured and we don't know and we changing the system because he's injured. We need to find a player who could do the John Stones role. I'm just thinking who could do it. World football. I think Brathwaite is someone who could potentially do it. Gerard Brathwaite for Everton. I know he's 100 million, but it's worth spending 100 million on him if he can do the John Stones role because there's no one who could actually do that. They're showing the possession stats 65%, 10 shots of City to 3. Aston Villa just have one shot on target and they've scored from the one shot. This has actually been the problem with City throughout the season. Bloody one shot on target and they score. We need to have 100 shots on target. This has been the problem. This needs to be issued. I mean, this needs to be, addressed basically. JSK says play Guardiola as right back, Akanji as left back. I think Akanji as right back would be much more preferable, I think, because Vinicius Junior would love to cut inside, right? Then if a left footer plays there, it would be difficult for him to manage, I think. I probably think it's Ortega goalkeeper, Guardiol, Diaz, John Stones, and Manuel Akanji. I think the midfield will be interesting actually. I think he's going to play Rodri, Kovacic, and De Bruyne. And I think he's going to play Grealish, Haaland, Bernardo Silva. I mean, I just can't see a place for four. I think we can. I can just visualize a place for only one, either Foden or De Bruyne against Madrid. I know he could drop Grealish and he could play Foden. That's the only choice, but I don't know. I think Foden will not be able to give as much control as Grealish does on that left hand side. And left hand side is going to be important because Rodrigo is in great form as well. I think Madrid is not as easy as A lot of people made it out when the draw happened, right? Because right now Madrid are in hot form. They have 9 days to prepare, and we play Villa now, we play Crystal Palace in the weekend, and then we play Real Madrid in midweek, and then we have a match again, Luton, and then again Real Madrid. So there's no rest, but Real Madrid have 9 days rest. JSK says only way to get Brathwaite is if Everton gets relegated. I think a price tag has been put on him, right? JSK 100 million. I mean, do you see any other player similar to John Stones in world football in any team? I don't. That's the problem. I think I don't. I mean, this is where I think Declan Rice would have been an excellent signing for us because he could have done the John Stones role excellently well. Because Declan Rice was a centre back before he go moved into midfield. So Rice could play centre back, he could play defensive midfielder, he could play box to box midfielder. I think Rice could have actually done he could play at right back as well. Rice could have done the role of 3 or 4 people. And actually, this Calvin Phillips transfer actually ruined it for us, I think, because just imagine if instead of Calvin Phillips, we got someone else, he would have developed and matured till now. And Rodri would be getting rest as well, and that player who would have matured actually would have found a way into the team as well. I mean, that Calvin Phillips transfer has actually messed many things up for us, to be honest, because if we had got that Phillips transfer right, we would have not got into people like Nunez and Kovacic and stuff. We went into those people just because we wanted a cover for Rodri, right? So Calvin Phillips transfer has actually ruined it all for us. Arush says, I think today's scoreline is going to be 4-1. Arush, if it's 4-1, I'll be very happy, Arush, because I do not want another stressful night again. Lot of stressful nights this season, right? Against Brentford, it was stressful at the Etihad 1-0. Against Everton, it was stressful at the Etihad. Against Palace, it was stressful at the Etihad. Of course, we lost points, so it was painful as well. Lot of stressful nights at the Etihad. Don't want to take any more stress. Against Brighton, it was stressful at the Etihad. I think we won 2-1 or something like that, if I'm not wrong. JSK says Kimmich. Yes, Kimmich is a very good uh, name, actually, right? Kimmich is another one, and right, Jessica. I think even Kimmich could do the things I mentioned, right? Just what Declan Rice could do: play centre back, play box to box, play CDM, play at right back as well. So yeah, Kimmich should be fantastic. I think we buy Kimmich and Lucas Paqueta next season, and a right back as well. I think it would be a superb window. And according to the financial sustainability rules, FFP rules, based on our profits, we are allowed to spend 200 million pounds next year. Aston Villa breaking on us, my God. Arush, hope your scoreline is right and we don't concede more than one goal. Great, great challenge. Fantastic challenge from Josko Guardiol. This is the real Josko Guardiol. We have been sent a fake Josko Guardiol in the first half of the season. What a fantastic challenge there from Josko Guardiol. Well claimed by Stefan Ortega. That's a good rollout as well. I think Luka Dean is out of position. Phil Foden. Jeremy Doku. Ah! The ball bounced over Jeremy Doku. When will we score the third goal? The third goal is just eluding us so much. Aru says, whenever I see 2-1, that Crystal Palace match comes in front of me. Arush, that is an impossible match to lose. Arush, you're at the Etihad Stadium, you're 2-0 up, 15 minutes to go. Ah! How did we not score there? What is this? Missing chance after chance after chance. Our XG is bloody 5 now if you look at it. He was well on side as well. Bernardo Silva. Ah, that is missing chance after chance after chance. My God. What the hell? Julian Alvarez. We should have been out of sight. We should have been just enjoyed. We should have been sitting here enjoying this game and chatting about it. That is well defended. Alvarez does well. I mean, open goal for Alvarez, open goal for Bernardo Silva. That's a free kick in City's favor. But Arus, that was pretty much a game which we could not lose, right? 2-0 up, 15 minutes to go at the Etihad Stadium. And it was the same Etihad Stadium where Bayern Munich came here and could not score. Real Madrid came here and could not score single goal. Leipzig came here and could not score a single goal. It is the same Etihad Stadium where last year in the FA Cup, no team had managed to score against us. I mean, three or four of the best European teams have come to Etihad last season and did not score. And you could not manage a clean sheet with a two-goal cushion. You could not manage to, protect a two-goal cushion with 15 minutes to go. That Crystal Palace game was such a this thing. But the only reason why I forgive that game is because Phil Foden evolved as a player after that game. It was his mistake that led to 2-2, and he dribbled when he could have just passed it back and killed the game off, and the ball went into the penalty box. Foden made that tackle out of guilt, and it was 2-2. Foden matured as a player after that performance. That's a great switch there to Jack Grealish. Jack, we need to score the third. Jeremy Doku. Little bit of appeals for penalty, but no penalty, and City recycle possession there. Ruben Diaz. Arush says they're checking for the penalty, so let's see. They're checking for the penalty, so let's. I mean, that's a foul. I mean, I don't know. Arush says personally, I feel that Alvarez should go on loan because he deserves more game time. But Haaland is having the spotlight at Etihad. I have a strong feeling that he's going to go on loan. But that's the thing, right, Arush? Which club is he going to go on loan to? Because any club he goes on loan to will be a step down City, right? City are not going to loan him to potentially Real Madrid, Barcelona, those Bayern, those kind of clubs because they could be rivals in the Champions League, or neither they are going to loan him to a fellow top four, top five club in the Premier League. So where will he go on loan? That is the question, and I do not think Alvarez is a player who goes on loan. I mean, Alvarez is the second best striker in the Premier League. I think apart from City, he starts at any other club. I mean, maybe apart from Bayern and City, I think he starts for every other club in Europe. I think he starts for your Real Madrid over Joselu. He starts for your Barcelona over Winterrock or whatever trash they've got. Certainly over Lewandowski right now at Barcelona. I think he starts at every other club in world football. So that's the conundrum, I think. I think Pep needs to play a 3-5-2. I think 4-4-2 would be very unstable. I think a 3-5-2 would be perfect, to be honest. 3-5-2 would be a perfect formation to fit in both Alvarez and Haaland. And when you look at Julian Alvarez's, and when you actually look at Julian Alvarez's, when he has got assists and goals, look at his goal contributions. Most of them are when he's just played on the shoulder of Haaland. And when he plays on the shoulder of Haaland, suddenly Haaland doesn't have to come into the middle of the pitch to receive the ball. Haaland doesn't have to press. Alvarez does all of that job. Alvarez is very good at pressing and stuff. So I think 4-4-1-1 or a 3-5-2 or a 3-5-1-1, something like that is the best for Alvarez, I think. Especially if Bernardo leaves, which people are telling he will. I hope not, but when he leaves, I think instead of buying players to replace Bernardo, I think we need to buy players to fit into that 3-5-2 system. Because right now our strength is in having two of the world's best strikers, and we need to utilize that strength as much as possible. Aston Villa are breaking again, bloody hell. Great save, Ortega. Fantastic save, Stephen Ortega. Douglas Lewis was primed to score over there. Fantastic save from Stephen Ortega. Douglas Lewis was primed to score over there. JSK says, who the who the F has the name John? I think it's spelled John Duran. Even I was surprised by the name JSK, to be honest. It's it's a corner. I hope we don't concede. Stefan Ortega does extremely well, and City have a chance to break here. Bernardo, Bernardo, Bernardo. And that's a foul on Jack Grealish. Arish says Duran and Doggle are a bit concerning. Again, I think Douglas Lewis was had to be our player, but then again, on the flip side, I think if Douglas Lewis was at City, we might not have got Rodri, so I don't complain about that much. Manuel Akanji, John Stones, Jeremy, Rodri. Rodri does well there. Rico is just playing in the pockets of space very well, to be honest. Jack has to cut inside. I mean, strike it, but Doku does well. City are maintaining the pressure here. Jack but we have had chances to kill this game off. Ah, Alvarez open goal, Bernardo Silva open goal. Should have been 4-1 like Arush suggested. 2-1 is always tense. 2-1 is always tense. Just because Douglas Lewis, don't let that MF score. He will dance. We cannot drop points today, JSK. We just cannot drop points today. We need to score the third goal just to be on the safe side. Because this is one of our tough remaining fixtures. After this, I think one of the other toughest fixture is Spurs away, which will be at the end, I think. I know we have Brighton away, but then I think again Brighton with the injuries they're having, with them progressing in the Europa League, I think Brighton away might not be as tough. I might be wrong, but it not be as tough as people suggest. So Harris is Haaland coming up. Harris, I'm just not able to hold the tension actually. I want us to score one more goal because I'm like at any moment Aston Villa can break. They just need 1 second. These idiots Aston Villa have just had two shots on target and they almost scored two goals. We are like having some 100 shots on target. Foden was just trying to dance through everyone. Ah, ball almost there. Again, Aston Villa breaking. My God, it's a 3v3 at the back. Ah, that's great defending there by Ruben Diaz. Whenever Aston Villa break, I don't know why. It just seems that they are going to score. So tense watching Aston Villa break. Foden was just on a dribbling massacre over there. Ah, even after winning three Premier Leagues in a row, this to us is always like it's day one watching City play. I think that's what is beautiful about watching this team play. I think just connect with the team so much. Bloody Jack. City have got back into shape. At least Villa are not breaking on us. You should score the third. I like the scoreline which Arush said 4-1. Hope that is the reality. Well done. Stefan Ortega is so clean with his catching, with his everything. He's just so good. For me, he's the third best goalkeeper in the league after Ederson and Allison. He's miles better than Raya, to be honest. Jeremy Doku done very well. They're dragging 2, 3 players along with him, and that traditional switch of Rodri to Grealish. Josko Guardiola does extremely well. Look at the strength over there. He should be a boxer, Josko Guardiola, not a footballer. The strength is showing is superb. And City score! It's the third! It's the guy! Phil Foden! Come up with the finish! This is you, Phil! This is you, Phil! You are the sniper over here! This is a sniper shot! Phil Foden with the latest automatic rifle. Phil Foden on the mark. Premier League's greatest marksman this season. Phil Foden. How many goals has he got? I reckon he'll be in double figures for Premier League itself. Wow. This is great from Rodri as well. Look what Rodri has done over there. You're right, guys. Rodri must now stop being a CDM and he should play much, yeah, and he should play higher up the field. He can bloody be a cam. He can bloody be a central attacking midfielder. Rodri, look at that skill. Wow. What a goal from Phil Foden. JSK says where the F he was in Arsenal. JSK, he was pushed down the left hand side in Arsenal against Arsenal, and De Bruyne played against Arsenal in the middle. And after that, after 55 minutes, Phil Foden was just thrown out against Arsenal. Substituted. I mean, I think against Arsenal, if Pep had substituted De Bruyne and played Foden in the middle, I think we could have probably had a different result. I think. I think it's interesting. That is the devil's dilemma, to be honest. I don't know what you guys think, but for me, that's the devil's dilemma. Against Real Madrid, do you start De Bruyne or do you start Foden? Because I hate this idea of, starting both De Bruyne and Foden and throwing Foden onto the left hand side. That idea is silly and stupid for me. That idea is absolutely stupid for me. Either you start Foden in the center or you don't play Foden at all. That's the only thing. JSK says Foden nostalgia over form. But JSK, there are a couple of devil's questions. Both JSK and Darish, I don't know what you feel about these. First thing is, of course, I've told you Foden or De Bruyne, and 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 the second thing is, would you play Julian Alvarez or Erling Haaland against Real Madrid? I know you'd think, is he silly, is he stupid asking this question, but just imagine this. What did Antonio Rudiger do last time when Erling